Hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. We're almost here to the weekend. By the time you watch this video, one more day. So something to look forward to, huh? I'm just chugging along. The summer's pretty much just put one foot in front of the other, kind of the same thing over and over, going on walks, drinking watermelon juice, eating mangoes. Maybe it's about time to do another What I Eat in a Day video. But anyhow, today I want to talk about raw food, diet, variety, perception, and reality. I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, I'd really appreciate it. Go down there now and hit that subscribe button. Then go immediately and click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Raw food, diet, variety. This is actually a little conversation. It started out as a little conversation I was having in my head earlier today. Like, I go back and forth with myself, you know. If you're watching my Instagram, I show pretty much everything I eat every day. And I'm starting to get some questions now like, dude, you're a little repetitive, aren't you? Like, oh man, don't you get tired of the same things over and over and over? So I have these questions with myself too. Now, absolutely not. Do I get tired of it? Do I get bored with it? No, 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 not even close to that. I do have these conversations from time to time, because even though I feel so amazing, I'm like, okay, well, maybe you're not getting enough variety. You're not getting a lot of greens right now. You're not getting a lot of this, but I don't know. I just kind of have to always go back to how I feel. And I realize that I go through these little phases and different ticks throughout the year, that I'll be back on the greens hard and I'll be on to something else. But my method on this is just like, you know, I know people are always on variety, but for me, I just kind of like, I eat like I imagine an animal would, or I would if I was just thrown out into nature somewhere. If I came on a tree or it was a specific season and I was out in nature somewhere and I come to fruit, I'm going to probably clear that tree before. I'm not going to like eat a couple of pieces of fruit off that tree and then go bouncing around like, well, let me see if I can find something else. I'm a little bit tired of mango now. No, I'm going to probably camp out around that tree and I'm going to eat mangoes until that tree is empty, or until mango season's gone, or until that's not coming around anymore. And I get into, listen, I get these tastes and I can't get out of them. I was thinking the other day, all I really need to thrive on this lifestyle is one good fruit, maybe two, like I'm getting right now. And I'm not including bananas, even though I love bananas. Bananas is the base, but I can groove. Like earlier in the year, it was oranges. I was getting a lot of oranges. So orange juice, bananas. I was happy, happy, happy. This and pretty much for about 8 or 9 months now, I've been getting mangoes. And you guys know, if you've watched for a while, if you watched back when I was in Costa Rica, you know my love, you know my obsession for everything mango. So I've been getting good mangoes. I was thinking back, I'm about to go to Woodstock here in a month. I have gotten good mangoes without a break. There may have been just a couple of weeks here and there, but I've got good mangoes for a year now. So I'm real happy with that. And then this summer I've been getting watermelon juice. So when I get things like that, I'm just like basic. I'm into a pattern right now. Every day is watermelon juice to start the day. Next meal is mangoes. After that, I will generally, you know, get into a smoothie or something else. Blueberries. I got a freezer full of blueberries I'm sitting on, and I'm kind of using them. I'm not purposely using them sparingly, but I just don't care for blueberry ice cream every night, so I use a packet, and I don't use them for 3 or 4 days. But I mean, that's it. That's the summer right there. I'm basically living on about 5 or 6 foods: mango, watermelon, blueberry, banana, spirulina, some greens, and that's it. That's pretty much it. And I'm here to tell you, I can't wait to eventually get back to Costa Rica, but I think this summer I might feel as good as I've ever felt. I mean, I kind of just know I'm heading in the right direction. But also for me, it's just always a simple thing too. And I'm about to segue into the next part of this, talking about the perception and the reality. I've always been kind of like that. Even back when I ate a standard American diet, I would get on kicks and I would just eat, you know, a lot of the same things over and over and over and over. And that's where the perception and the reality part comes in. People are always like, well, the raw food diet or raw vegan lifestyle is boring. There's just not that much variety on it. Sure there is. There's as much variety as you want to make it. There's as much variety as you want to learn how to put combinations together. But to put it into a little bit of perspective here, think about people that eat in the S.A.D world. Now, yeah, some people are foodies and they're eating something different all the time and they have a good big repertoire of different things they're eating. But the average person is just eating the same 4 or 5 things over and over, you know, like, it's taco night, or it's this kind of chicken night, or it's this kind of. The people that are eating standard American diet, they don't have a ton of variety in their life. You know, a lot of them will eat the same things over and over, go through that same drive-through 5 mornings a week, eat this same thing here, easy just to pick up the takeaway. So there's not as much variety in the non-plant-based world as everybody, you know, seems to make it out. And for every bit of variety there is in the standard American diet, there's a knockoff version of it. There's mock lasagnas, there's mock hamburgers, there's mock this and that. Some of them are just simply vegan. Some of them are processed products. But it can be done with raw food. I've seen some, I haven't had a whole lot. I would die just to have somebody that made me raw lasagna, raw vegan lasagna on the reg, man. That's just, some of that stuff just looks phenomenal. So for everything out there, there's a substitute for it. So theoretically, there's just as much variety on this lifestyle as there is on any other. It's just all about how you approach it. And your thinking. Like a lot of people still, even when they come to this lifestyle, all they kind of think is like, you know, munching on salads and eating these vegetables, and it's very, you know, they don't get creative. The average person is not going to live on just fruit and salads. You're going to have to get a little creative. You're going to have to make some of those dishes, but you learn as you go. You learn as you go. I'll guarantee you this. If you can have, you know, daytimes are easy. You eat fruit during the day, you have some smoothies, blah, blah, blah. At nighttime, that's the trouble time. People are like, oh, I'm not going to have my cooked food. I got to have something satisfying, a lot of times savory. So learn as many recipes as you need. Learn as many recipes as you need. But I'll tell you something, I'll throw it in, and I've talked about this before when I've talked about recipes. If you've got a solid 5 to 7, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot of different meals, but if you got a good 5 to 7 meals, recipes that you really like in your repertoire, you can cycle those around and pretty much live off of that. I mean, you could buy one good recipe book and boom, you got the variety for the rest of your life. That 30-day meal plan that I have of Melissa's, I've almost worn apart, and I haven't made a lot because I haven't been in any food making mood in ages and ages and ages. Definitely not this summer. Maybe when I get back from Woodstock and the weather starts cooling off a little bit, I'll get into it and I'll start doing some, you know, warmer weather stuff. I'll be happy to get back to some of those stews that I've made before. I've got a real good stew on my recipe playlist. That's got mushrooms that have like sat in the window and marinated a little bit, really good. Some corn in there, some heavy stuff. But as far as the variety goes, number one, I'm not ever saying like don't try to emulate or follow me, because I've always been like that. Before I was going to move to Costa Rica, you know, it's very famous. Latin America is beans and rice. Beans and rice comes with a lot of things, almost everything down there. So I said, this is interesting. So I think I'll get used to it. The month before I left, I ate beans and rice every meal for a month. I think maybe I had some breakfast, or I probably wasn't even eating breakfast. Maybe I just drank coffee back in those days, but I had beans and rice every day for lunch and dinner. It was good. I enjoyed it. And the best part was I didn't have to think. I was just like, I just knew. Dinner time, where are the beans and rice? You know, I kept a pot on the stove of rice, some of beans. But yeah, the variety thing is what you make out of it. There can be no variety in your diet, or there can be just as much variety as there is in any diet whatsoever. So anyhow, that's just my 2 cents on the subject. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you tomorrow to finish up the week. Peace.